Would South Africa be where it is if Chris Hani was still alive? Is the tripartite alliance a shadow of its former self? And why is the SACP saying President Jacob Zuma must step down? And will the SACP contest the 2019 elections with the ANC still? What time is it? It's question time.
So this was a measure of desperation. It was not only in Lesotho. They went across Mozambique and killed refugees, and a few of our comrades, they went into Botswana. They were crazy. They decided that they were going to take off their gloves and that they were going to kill anybody who harbored us, who was unfortunate to stay next to us, whether he was a Mosotho, a Motswana, a Zimbabwean. That was the nature of the frenzy existing in Pretoria. It makes me actually realize, you see, with impatience, the need to defeat, this regime. And I don't mince my words when I'm speaking about this regime. I hate it intensely. I hate it. Every time I stand on a platform, I'm reminded of these gruesome atrocities. I'm even reminded of my own children. If they had succeeded, they would have killed. My children were, at that time, one of them was 2 years old, another one 10 years, a baby. And I saw it as basically an inhuman regime, a cruel regime. And people who were fighting for...
Well, yeah, that's Chris Thembisile Hani. Hoto, my name is Umkhonto, and like I said, that was a clip of the late SACP General Secretary Chris Hani. Today marks the 24th anniversary of the assassination of freedom fighter and SACP stalwart Thembisile Chris Hani. President Jacob Zuma presided over the unveiling of a plaque on the declaration of the late Hani's grave and the Chris Hani Memorial and Walk of Remembrance as a national heritage site. Hani is remembered for signing what became known as the Hani Memorandum in 1969 with 6 MK commanders. They were frank about outlining several disturbing trends within the ANC at the time. They accused the leadership of careerism, corruption, and persecution by the party's security structures. Hani's commemoration comes in the wake of the recent cabinet reshuffle, which has put the ANC and its alliance partners on a collision course. The SACP and COSATU have subsequently called for President Zuma to step down. We are live, therefore you can call us. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210 and our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. My guest today, Solima Paila, is the second Deputy Secretary or Deputy General Secretary of the SACP, and he joins me in studio. Soli, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
Let's talk about the storm. I don't know which storm you want to talk about.
Multiple storms, of course. No, the storm was fine. I mean, we welcome rain any day. So you never wish it away because it's one of the sources of life. Therefore, it was important. Unfortunately, it then disrupted our event towards the end.
And there's lots of interpretations, that are coming. Chris Hani doesn't want this, Chris Hani doesn't want that, and all that. But what emerged out of today's proceedings? Firstly, before we even talk about Chris Hani, I'm surprised you're saying the SACP was not consulted on the memorial lecture that is happening today, which is going to be addressed by Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba.
Yeah, what normally happens is that we discuss this process to identify the speaker for the memorial service.
Yeah.
So that is a joint process. It's done by the national leadership of the Communist Party and the ANC, as well as the Hani family. So this time it was not done that way. The municipality went and found someone to speak. That's what happened. But that's against the established protocol of a political process of engagement in this regard.
Well, one would say it actually reflects the state of the alliance. if you cannot be consulted when you are one of the key stakeholders in terms of Chris Hani's legacy, and as political analysts we then say, okay, Zwandile is chairing Ekurhuleni. He is the executive mayor of Ekurhuleni Metro, and he is aligned to the group that is supporting the Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma's camp, so to say, and therefore you, as the Communist Party, have made it clear that you don't subscribe to that view, and therefore they are basically, putting their people there, not your forces.
Well, let me start here. We do not subscribe to any leader in the ANC as the Communist Party, and we've been very clear about that. What we have rejected in public, it's factionalism and the election of leadership based on factions and factional association, and to allow factions to grow and destroy the movement in the manner that it is happening now. We don't subscribe to a leader in that respect. However, it's important also to say, we have said part of the problem is because the movement has not created a policy process that assists it when every time there's a conference and there's a new leader coming, and that process, how to make it smooth. We don't have the mechanism as yet. We hope that this coming conference, including the policy conference, we'll start making some discussions or debates around that, and possibly develop a full policy framework to follow. That's been an issue that is worrying us, because every time the movement is going to a conference, there's this massive fight inside the movement, and of course it's a fight for resources largely, and abuse of state institutions. Like this point that we are talking about, it's extremely unacceptable, because an established protocol is being deviated upon, just so that those who think that they are in political office, they think that the political office belongs to them. The political offices that we may have been elected as leaders of the ANC or the alliance components through the ANC are borrowed offices by our people through the electoral process. So they must be respected for what they are. Even the established protocols must be what they are. They must not even be a secret process. For instance, it's undeniable that Chris Hani was General Secretary of the Communist Party when he passed on. And when the municipality at the time gave him the freedom of the city, and they sought to engage us as well, we embraced the view, the family embraced the view. So going forward with the celebrations, which we have been doing anyway without them, as a Communist Party, we created a process that, because we'll continue to celebrate his life as our former General Secretary, whether the municipality is there or not, for as long as the Communist Party exists, it will always remain part and parcel of our life, of our history and life.
Wiseman.
Yes, involved.
Welcome.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Wiseman.
Yes, sorry, I just want to say, man, I like your spirit, but I honestly believe that you are in a wrong organization. You're supposed to be one of the EFF leaders. Sorry, I spoke to you here in one of the community radios, which I told you about the law that allows companies not to give workers interest, and you promised that you're going to follow that because that law came with the ANC. So can you please just tell me how far are you with that promise that you promised? Because really, my friend, I like your spirit. You are only in a wrong organization. You're supposed to be one of the EFF leaders. For the fact that you don't even know that the ANC that you align to has these laws that exploit workers, that clearly shows that you are in a wrong organization. You're supposed to be one of the EFF leaders.
Okay, Wiseman.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Wiseman. Well, being recruited there live on air.
No, I'm in the Communist Party, and I'm helping the Communist Party. And in the ANC too, I belong to both organizations. I grew up in both of them in the Youth Congress, so there's no problem there. The organization's values remain important and significant. In fact, they are the aspirations that are enshrined in the Freedom Charter, in the Constitution of the Republic. They are the ones that actually can cohere South Africa. It is the problem of leadership that actually violates those values of the ANC. And therefore, we've been focusing a little bit in trying to correct that kind of space. And I think that it's a negative space generally, because people with power abuse the power. For instance, the security establishment has been used against political opponents, which we completely reject. So we will continue to fight along the path of principle, okay, to make sure that the movement's values are restored. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to talk about this call for, from the Communist Party to say President Zuma must resign, step down, whichever way, but you want him gone. So I want us to talk about that openly, frankly, and no punches held back there. A reminder that you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. We shall return.
Water-wise, water is an essential need. The scarcity of it could lead to loss of many lives, including livestock, plants, and much more. It requires us to use it sparingly and responsibly in times of need, failing which our taps and sanitation will not function. For more on water and weather issues, stay tuned to News Today, every Friday at 5:45 Central African Time. SABC News, making you water-wise.
Welcome back. You are still with Question Time. Our apologies in that regard. But before we continue, let's have a look at what President Zuma and Umkhonto We Hani had to say earlier today.
Comrade Chris Hani demonstrated throughout his life and at the hour of his death that he lived for his people. He taught many young men and women within the ANC and the Alliance that personal sacrificing was the price to be paid in defense of the interests of the oppressed black people.
Highly we are humbled and honored by this gesture of our government led by President Zuma. I am a member of the ANC, and there is only one ANC. I refuse to play in the hands of those who ask, what would Chris say today? I cannot answer that question. What I do know is Chris was a loyal, disciplined, and responsible ANC cadre.
Yeah. Facts there. Very disciplined. I mean, Chris Hani spoke about how he felt when they eventually wrote the memorandum to the leadership of the ANC, which in as much as led to their suspension from the organization, but it also opened the way for the Morogoro conference, in as much as they were not allowed to attend, but he still remained within the ANC, very disciplined, and called names, all sorts of names, sell out, this and that, but remained in the ANC. But here is that party of Chris Hani now calling for this president of the ANC, who is talking so nicely about Chris, to go.
Yes, firstly, because of the gross mistakes that he has committed, which we feel that completely go against the values of the ANC. The fundamental one being that he has been given a mandate by the ANC, and he exercises this mandate outside the framework of the ANC. The comrades in the ANC may be afraid to say it, who are completely only ANC members, but we may not. That's the reason why we were able to come out in the manner that we did, particularly after the cabinet reshuffle. And we have seen where, for instance, it was demonstrated openly by the process which we engaged with him, which we did not agree with him. Not that we came out because we did not agree with him. There are many issues that as leaders we never agree on. But in this case was the fact that these decisions, strategic decisions, equaling to establishing or reshuffling national cabinet or the cabinet, national executive, the cabinet, are taken outside the framework of the ANC. What it effectively means is that power, political power, that we fought for as we campaigned to win the elections through the vote, that political power has been handed over to some people outside the ANC. That's the main key issue that we are fighting against. We feel that that issue, if we allow it to happen, will not be worth our salt to say we are part and parcel of this electoral mandate given to us by the people, which we do not respect. So that's what we call corporate capture of the state. Groupings, including the Guptas and so forth, we would have seen they've demonstrated that actually they've known these decisions before they were pronounced. Now, that's unacceptable. It should be from inside the ANC. If it's pronounced through the ANC, that's why we don't want a proxy president.
Okay. Arthur, you are in Tanin.
Yes, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm well, yes. I want to ask Mr. Sol if they will be supporting the march on Wednesday, and if yes, how? What is their strong motive on the march there?
On what?
The march that will be happening on Wednesday. Yes. That is formed by political parties. Are they going to attend the march? And if yes, what is their strong motive behind the march?
Oh, okay. Thanks very much, Arthur. Yeah.
No, we're not participating in the march of the opposition parties tomorrow. We had our own march last week, Friday. We were part and parcel of the people that coordinated the march on Friday. As you know, Minister Gigaba refused to accept our memorandum, and therefore we were marching to the Treasury, and therefore we joined the march with Save South Africa. We were quite clear. Many of our comrades joined that particular march. We know that there's been attacks that this is an imperialist march or coordinated march. I'm not coordinated by any imperialism, nor is the Communist Party. We want to participate in that particular march, which we coordinated. It was not, will not be part of the march of the opposition parties tomorrow. The objectives may be about what we share, because indeed we have come to a conclusion that the president must step down.
Sam, you are in Winterveld. Welcome.
Yes, you know, I just wanted to check two things, man. You know, sorry, is SACP a vanguard of the ANC, or are they members? Because no, really. And secondly, if the speaker in Ekurhuleni, was he then therefore not consulted? Don't you think the family is consented? You know, because we see, I mean, they've got a secretary general who's now has been a secretary for over 15 years. I'm not sure what exactly.
Oops, okay. I think we got the point there.
No, as I say, the protocol, I don't have to go to the nitty-gritties of that, but the bottom line is that the headquarters of the Communist Party, we wrote a letter to the SG of the ANC, which is standard practice every time, because we are politically responsible for the event.
Okay.
Outside the government responsibility. That's why we invite the alliance partners to come to the event. It's not, they're not invited by the municipality. So we discuss with the ANC on the speaker of the memorial service, other than the one that they must send to the political event in the morning. And that process, the speaker that is going to speak today was not as a speaker of that particular outcome, including the family was not aware about this outcome. But it doesn't mean that we can attend the event. It's an event that is organized to honor Comrade Chris Hani. Okay. That's what we want to keep the decorum, to respect that particular event. That's why we've actually welcomed the government for pronouncing this as a national heritage site. We think it's a very important step.
Ayanda, you are in Durban. Welcome.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Ayanda.
Good, and good afternoon to Comrade Soli. Just a very quick question to Comrade Soli. Yes. Firstly, I think the SACP did the right thing to actually come up and say, together with COSATU, to say that President Zuma should step down. This is not because they hate the ANC. They still love the ANC, but they actually don't like what President Zuma is doing. But I want to ask this question to Comrade Soli. Comrade Soli, does the entire leadership of the SACP, including Comrade or Dr. President Zuma, agree with this point that President Zuma should step down, and or is it just, and also the constituency as well, because we're not talking only about the leadership of the SACP, but we're talking about both the leadership and the constituency of the SACP.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, that's all.
Well, it doesn't have to agree personally, but it's a decision of first the Politburo and the Special Central Committee. But I must indicate that when this decision was taken, people like him said, well, if you take this kind of a decision, we may as well, some of them, including himself, leave government. And we actually, the meeting, actually called him to order to say, no, that's not President Zuma's government. It's our government that we are leading through the African National Congress.
So is there no call by the South African Communist Party for its members to withdraw or to even vote?
No, there's no such a call. That's why we debated the call for their withdrawal, and we ended up saying they should not withdraw, they should keep their post and serve the people, and if there are wrong things, they must report them back to the African National Congress.
The voting, motion of no confidence, how are communists expected to vote?
Yeah, we have repeated this many times. They are there in government on behalf of the ANC. They are ANC members of parliament. Of course, when they take a public oath, oath of office, they become public representative. But they go there under the banner of the African National Congress. We cannot tell the ANC what to do, but we can express our view, which the ANC should definitely consider as their ally.
Johannes, very quickly.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Quickly, my brother.
Okay. I've got a message for Soli Mapaela. Soli, please go and tell ANC that we are watching them. They mustn't think we are not watching. This party must not be scared to break away from the ANC, because we, the people, are not members. We are members of Communist Party and supporters of ANC. ANC must know that we are watching them. This factionalism is killing the organization, and Communist Party, you must not be scared, this COSATU, to break away from the ANC. Please do us that favor.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm more interested in what is going to happen here with the motion of no confidence. Do you support that motion as the Communist Party? I know you don't have members in Parliament.
We have asked for President Zuma to step down. You are right, we don't have members in Parliament. If we had, we will vote against him.
So what would you say to those members who are members of the Communist Party who are also members of the ANC?
They can take a cue of what the organization thinks, but in their own right as ANC members, they can raise this matter in the ANC caucus for debate, so that the ANC can come to the same conclusion or not. But our view was that actually this would have been a better decision taken by the African National Congress to self-correct because of these gross violations. If we fail to correct this, the manner in things like this, the people will not take us seriously. They think we are just self-serving individuals just concerned about our own personal interests.
Excuse me, do you still subscribe to democratic centralism?
Yes, of course. That's a pillar of our revolution.
So if the ANC decides president is going nowhere, you support that?
Well, as SACP, not. Okay. But in the ANC platform, it will obviously be entrenched across the line. Yeah.
Well, not very clear there, you know, but it's a matter for you to really ponder going forward. And that was question time for today. I have a thought.